Let's go.
Okay. So this is just only going to be quick and easy for you. Okay, so let's move on to your part one. So this is your first question. Which area of science is the most important in the last 100 years?
All right. So, given that actually that is actually a very much benevolent type of question. However, given that type of outlandish nature of that particular thing or field per se, I believe that it is biology, which is an area of science which is of great or which is paramount for the past hundred or decades, in a sense that without biology, everything would not be existing in that particular way. So, when I was younger, I was actually able to enjoy this particular type of or faction of science in a way that it transubstantiated my views as regards liquidity of what it entails to become a particular type of person, hence inspired me to become the professional that I am today, which is already related to science itself. Thank you.
Okay, so for your second question, which do you think is more important, science or social studies?
I am on the fence on this one, albeit I would always opt for something that is quite stentorian in nature, which technically is science, so to speak. So then again, the basis of this is thereof people can actually learn a lot of things when it comes to science, given that the basic human component is always explained by science itself. So there is no quagmire that people can actually encounter when they are very much focusing on science might as well. So the knee plus ultra of this one, I believe, is when people were able to amass certain type of knowledge, which could be tool set for the things that they are aiming for and is highly applicable for the future.
Wow. Okay, so this is your third question. Um, do you think people are born clever or need to learn to be clever?
There is a certain nepotism that is quite actually connected to that. In as much people I think need to be clever, well, although being clever can be learned, people need to be clever in life in a sense that being clever is not something that is in it, it is something that is learned. So technically, the meliorism of human nature is mainly focusing on the idealism of their particular points in life, on how they actually see things as compared to how they actually want to learn things. So I do concur and by such that it is being clever that is very much paramount on that particular situation.
Okay. So for your final question, do you think there's anything that intelligent people find difficult to do?
Well, very much continuous, I would like to say. I gather that people find it difficult to be human at some point in their lives, especially if they're very much intelligent. Sometimes people have a difficulty when it comes to verbiage of what they need to express to other people and can actually be taken not a decoupage of their things that of the things that they're actually doing. So I do believe that in that particular sense, people find it difficult to express their ideations, hence being the quiddity of being a human. And in my experience, I have had a friend that I have had a friend that, sorry guys, I was reading the comment section. Sorry, I glanced at the comment section. I have had a friend who is very much smart as an individual, and when I was talking to her, she has stated to me that it is very much difficult for her to express because people have this certain expectation of what she needs to be actually thinking of. So I think that would be on the basis thereof, that would be the thing that I would say as regards the difficulty of being too intelligent.
Wow, thank you. So that's the end of your part one. So let's move on your part two. Do you have your pen and paper?
Yes, I do have my pen and paper. Thank
Okay,
you.
are you ready? So this is your topic. Describe a very useful or relevant system or law in your country.
Okay, hold
Okay.
on.
Describe a very useful or relevant system in your country. So you should say what it is,
Okay,
who created or formulated it,
okay,
and when it was formulated or implemented,
all right.
and lastly, why do you think it is relevant or useful? So you have 2 minutes to prepare.
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, so you just wanted to make it 1 minute. Okay.
You're Sir Jeff, ha? Madali lang daw yung tanong.
It's very
Okay.
so welcome Corpus family. So just come on in, guys. We have 77 participants. Welcome, welcome. Already? I think you're done because you already closed your pen. Okay, are you ready, sir?
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
so your 2 minutes starts now.
There are multifarious array of laws that I would like to say. However, given that particular type of question and its nature itself, thereupon, the law that I would opt to talk about or to present is the women and children's welfare that was actually generated here in the Philippines with, however, not much of a focus per sense on that particular matter. So the formulation of this law is actually quite eccentric in nature because it was actually formulated supposedly for the women. However, it was transmogrified or it burgeoned towards the development of the children as well. So the person who I guess was able to formulate this one is a former senator or congressman, but they passed it on to a senator with no specifics on the particular matter because I have had a difficulty reaching onto my memory as regards that one. So it was technically implemented in 1983, albeit it was focused on and more highlighted in the year 2004, in a sense that it is through the Sisyphean of the people that has brought about this particular type of wonderful things for the people and of course for the women and children. Now, it focuses not just on the welfare of the women, anti-abuse, for the children, of course, for the children to be taken care of their children, which is quite congenial per se on that particular matter because here in the Philippines, given the machismo mentality of the people, then of course they are having a hard time grasping the concept of being a responsible father per se. So thereupon, to say nothing of, I believe that it does not only take care of the welfare of the people or the women and children rather, however, it is very much benevolent in a way that it is forgiving for the way that they are actually being taken care of. So might as well, and even so, I do believe that the basis of this particular law mainly focuses not just on women, as well as, of course, for children, and of course, to give them a better future ahead of them. So that I
It's
think
stop.
is the yeah.
Okay, 2 minutes
Thank you.
is up. So let's now move on your part three. Okay, how are you? Okay, I think everyone
I'm
is really
doing good.
waiting.
You know what,
Okay,
guys? Hold on. Before we move on to the part three, do you want to actually see what I'm holding on my left hand?
sure, sure.
You can actually see my right hand while I'm speaking. However, I'm holding my Bible on my left hand. This is serious. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
so let's move on your part three question. Why do you think verification of documents is important? And does your country have a good system related to this?
Right, to connect that question to the actual question itself, verification of document is very much paramount because there is too much falsification in the nation. In a sense that the Filipinos were actually exposed to this particular type of antipathy as regards the way that they handle documents. And of course, red ribbon, as an example, is a very much what do you call this germane thing on that particular matter. So I do believe that the Philippines is not handling this particular type of way of system, supposing that people were actually focusing on to just getting to another country without even taking care of the rights and the actual needs of the people to know what is and of course there is. Thank you.
Okay, so this for your second question. Do you agree that all countries must accept refugees?
Indeed, I am for that idea in a sense that, in as much as many countries are mainly focusing on the negative impacts of this one. However, I always see myself thinking otherwise on that particular notion, because refugees need a particular place for them to have that safe have haven, their laurels per se. And if a nation is very much capable of doing so or giving them the evergreen state, then of course I would highly recommend for them to be able to accept those, because it is being steadfast on this particular matter that actually helps other people in that particular sense. So an example of this one is the recent happenings in many parts of the world right now, and there are a lot of refugees going to Paris and other places wherein, of course, they are not accepted, and let alone they were actually rejected by that particular country. So I do see that as something that is stentorian. It breaks actually different types of cultures' way of accepting other people. So just to give it the medial sense, I do believe that they should actually accept refugees. Thank you.
Okay, so this is your last two questions. As we all know, Dr. Jose Rizal is our national hero. So, in our current situation in the Philippines, like an overall, like political environment and everything as an overall, do you think if Dr. Jose Rizal is still alive, what do you think he's doing right now?
He would be very much disappointed. That's what I can guarantee you. He would see the way of governance as something that is to be not taken seriously. He's very much facetious in a sense. However, given his character as a person, I do believe that he will be taking action, because he is a type of person who does not have that sense of quiescence as regards these particular germane facts or matters that is happening, which is timely and relevant to the country as of the moment. So I do believe that he's going to be expressing his verbiage as regards that, and he would envisage a lot of things for us to be able to reformulate the laws and of course the way of governance that we are actually encountering in that particular country, in a sense, which can generate a positive outcome for the people.
Okay, this is your final question. So, this question is not going to be a political, but this is just only a general question. Have you saw Infinity War movie? Are you familiar with Infinity Stones?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The one
Yeah,
that
okay. Yeah.
okay.
So are you familiar with all those stones? I'm just only for the sake of our viewers, I will just give a little information so at least they can figure out your answer. So we have six stones, the soul stone, and the power that you can have this is to preserve the soul and allow to life after death. And the second is Mind Stone, which you can grant telepathy or intelligence. And Time Stone can allow a person to travel through time and space that can allow teleportation through space. And the other one is Power that can make a person more physically powerful. And the last one, Reality Stone, can allow a person to access the multiverse. Okay. So this is your question. So guys, this is the question. If you have the infinity gauntlet in your hand and you're about to share one infinity stone to the top two highest position in our country, which is the president and vice president. We're not gonna name just only the position because we don't want it to make it political. So which one of infinity stone will you give to the president and vice president and why?
Well, without a doubt, I would give them the Soul Stone. There is nothing more paramount than having that ideation or actual sense of life after that, in a sense that this is what we're studying here while we are alive. A majority of the people tends to transubstantiate the way of thinking of the people as regards life after death by applying too much science as regards that. And this is causing a lot of deleterious effects to the way of thinking of the people. So I do believe or concur on this particular matter that it would be very much beneficial if they will be able to do that. After all, you need to remember that there are things in life which can be controlled by people. However, there are things in life which can only be something that can be conquered by the soul. So I do finalize on that motion. In as much as I would like to give them the other types of stones, this is the stone that the world needs right now, is for us to have our soul preservation and life after death per se. Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of your speaking. So, actually, I forgot to, I'm not gonna write anything because I want the people to judge. based on his performance and as well as for you
Yes,
to
guys.
decide. Come on, sir.
Okay,
How
I'm
are
so
you?
sorry. Well, I have noted that I have used the word actually multifarious times on the speaking. So forgive me, guys. That's my way of fillers, or in a way and in a sense are my way of fillers. So, guys, if you have any comments, please, by all means, I want you guys to what do you call this? Tell me the things that you have observed. Of course, feedbacks are always important, whether that's positive or negative. Okay, 9.9. Wait lang. Let me check the book the exam now. Thank you, Richard. OBS 3000 3,000,000. I do believe that you have repeated this again and again. Yes, actually, yes, I do. I was able to repeat, I do believe, on that particular matter. Yes, because sometimes I really wanted to say, I gathered that, or I really wanted to say, I think otherwise. However, that is something that I have retained since 2007. So, yeah, forgive me for that. So, superb, sir. Thank you, guys. Thank you for these wonderful comments. So, yeah, pahiram po ng utak sa speaking, sir, things. Kung po pwede nga lang. That's what I always tell my students. Mga anak, if only I can separate my soul and my mind from my body, and then I'm going to actually do just that. I will actually possess you on the actual test. So thank you guys for making me experience this again. Actually, it was my idea. It was my idea last Saturday, I believe. And then we were internalizing earlier with Sir Jello. I was like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? And then I was reading the Bible earlier when I was already when I was already doubting myself, and then I gathered that yes, if it is always God given, it will always prevail in the end. So thank you guys for that opportunity to show the way that I handle particular types of questions. So as you have noticed, guys, the way that I've handled it is like, have you noticed that it's like I'm not thinking? I'm like blabbing words, right? I'm like blabbing words. I'm not even thinking. That is my technique. I blab certain particular types of words so that I am actually trying to hypnotize my examiner to listen to those particular types of words for me to buy myself some time to think instead of saying, can I have some time to think? Right. So you can actually do that on the examination.